Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Farming Simulator 25 Map Guide. Today we're going to be taking a look at Horizonte Argentino. But before that, this video is brought to you by Schultz Modding and Bad Habit 99. Thank you for being farm barons. So the Horizonte Argentino map can be found at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu. And as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for all platforms. Now this map does have 9 required mods. So if we factor in the 9 required mods and the map download itself, we're looking at a total download size of 654 megabytes. Those required mods are the Meridian Grain Bin Pack, Farm Decoration Pack, Decorative Objects Pack, Additional Decoration Package, North American Shed Pack, Old Time Shed Pack, Big Decoration Package, Wood Shelter, and South American Classic Sheds. Let me read you some of the description. Horizonte Argentino is a map inspired by the core agriculture region of Argentina, offering an immersive and extensively rural developed experience. It combines natural landscapes, infrastructure, and crop diversity typically found in the country's central plains to recreate a familiar and representative environment. The map features detailed Argentine-style farms, silos, storage sheds, fenced plots, and realistic road networks featuring a unique South American atmosphere. This map includes 3 farms, 33 purchasable fields with an average size of 25.34 acres. There are 2 purchasable forested areas. Water can be retrieved from rivers, ponds, and windmill tanks. There is custom seasonal growth adapted to the Southern Hemisphere calendar based on the Argentina's core agricultural region. Ambient and wildlife signs from the region, 50 collectibles scattered around the map, and those are custom collectibles. And we also have some new crops included with this map. We have late maize, late soybean, emmer wheat, rye, triticale, alfalfa, and various other crops. Specifically, we have humus active as well, mustard, rye, spelt, Vitich rye, green rye, and field grass. With all that said, let's jump back over here to the map itself and, well, take a look at the PDA. This map is going to have mostly square or rectangular shaped fields, a few odd shapes here and there, and I guess the most interesting aspect here is going to be rectangular field 21 has this little plot here in the middle that looks like it might have been an old abandoned farm, or at least there's an old water tank kind of just sitting there in amongst the trees and tall grasses. As I mentioned, we have all the standard crops built to us in Farm Sim 25, as well as the new additional crops of alfalfa, humus active, mustard, rye, triticale, spelt, Vitich rye, green rye, field grass, late soybean, and late maize. With respect to our farmlands, should we choose to own the farm at the start, we'll start by owning Farmland ID 34. That is going to be the main starting farm, as well as Farmlands ID 31, 32, and Farmlands 33. Those are going to be our starting fields. Other farms, and I know the description said there are 3, but I'm not quite sure on that, where the third one's going to be located. We do have a little farm area here, Farmland ID 39. That's actually where we start, and to just kind of south of where we start, we have a chicken coop, we have some beehives, and some other things, and then we do have a shed here that we could make use of if we own this land. With respect to other possible areas, well, we have Farmland ID 38. And I'm going to call that a rebuildable area. We have kind of an old shed sitting over here we use for machinery, bales, or whatnot. But overall, that's pretty much all that's here. But you can easily buy this and build out something of your own. We also have one of the forest areas has a bit of greenery here. So Farmland ID 37 could be a potential build site for a farm. And then we also have a rather large area at Farmland ID 35 that could also be a buildable area. Should you choose to not own the starting farm, well then of course you wouldn't own Farmland ID 34, but I will tell you that all the buildings are built out exactly how you're going to see them here, and you also do not have any starting machinery should you choose to not own the starting farm. With respect to those playing with precision farming, this map is making use of a custom soil map. So let's go ahead and see how that is being applied to these fields. To the north and south of our starting farm location, we're going to have a mix of sandy loam and loam. Then kind of almost all the way through the middle of the map, we're going to have some silty clay. With respect to our crop counter, you can see we have a rather diverse crop counter compared to the standard base game. We are starting in February, which would be typical for a South American map, as opposed to starting in August. And you can see we have quite the change with respect to not only the base maps or the base crops, but we also have the additional crops that are added listed here in this modified growth calendar. We do not have any animals at the start on the starting farm, and there's only one animal pre-placed, and that's going to be the chicken coop. There are beehives also pre-placed, but I don't really classify those as animals because we really don't need to care for them. We do have contracts available on this map. There are no productions pre-placed, either available for purchase or owned at the start. So if you do want to do productions, well, you will have access to those rebuildable sites of Farmland ID 35, 37, or 38, where you could put additional productions down. With respect to sell points, I counted 5 distinct sell points scattered around the map. We're going to take a look at the starting machinery here in a moment. And then with respect to collectibles, we have 50 custom collectibles on this map. We have 25 small tractors and 25 cups. And I'll show you both here in a little bit. With respect to our starting fleet, should we choose to own the farm, we'll have available in our garage the Massey Ferguson MS7S 210 medium tractor, the John Deere 3650 small tractor, and the Lizard 2017 pickup truck. We're going to have 4 front loader arms, the pallet fork, and big bag lifter, and we're going to use the Q4M front loader arms for that. We have the FarmTech DDK 2400 trailer. We have the Pottinger Servo T6000P plow, as well as the John Deere 980 cultivator. We've got our solid stands, Great Plains cedar, and then we have for our harvester, the New Holland CH7.70. We have the 28-foot Verifeed New Holland grain header. We have the Nardi N40BX header trailers, a pair of those, because we also have a 8-row corn header also from New Holland as our starting harvesting equipment. We've got the Gouville G1 F125 round baler, and then we have Meridian TL1239 auger, as well as a 900 kilogram front weight. With respect to mods and DLCs, this map does not have any custom vehicles or implements included. Now, I said I was going to show you the collectibles. Well, right here at the very start, we have one of those very custom collectibles in this Massey Ferguson 1155 tractor. Let's go ahead and collect that. We got our buddy there. And we have our pickup truck. And like I said, we have then our chicken coop, some bees over here, should we buy this land. I'm going to hit tab real fast to take us over to the actual starting farm. And, well, I said I'm going to show you the cup as well. It's going to be this right here. So those are the 2 different types of collectibles that we have here on the map, and they are scattered all over the place. Let's pull up the main mini map there so you can kind of see where we are. We have our farmhouse, and I will say everything that I did try to sell here on this farm was able to be sold. There's an awful lot of deco elements, so I didn't click on every single one of them, but I will tell you that everything I did click on was sellable. So I think that's going to lead to a pretty good indication as to what you're going to be able to do here on this farm. The other farm that we just had, that's also sellable as well. We've got some pallets of seed as far as our starting, and we have pallets of our big bags of solid fertilizer as well. We have our farm silo located right here. And we have a few silo extensions located on either side of that. So we're dumping fill pipes. Another shed here for our machinery. We have a water storage tank. And then we have two small flat bottom Meridian grain bins. These are so small that you can actually fill them with this small belt. So you're going to fill them from the top and take them out of the bottom. And that pretty much is our starting farm location. So we're starting farm here, and we own field 32, 31, and 33, and a big square around it. This is where we started, and we can buy farmland ID 39. And when we do, we get this shed here. We have, of course, our house, and then we have this small area. Let me go ahead and buy that, as well as the other buildable sites that I talked about. You'll see now that we own the chicken coop tied with farmland ID 35. We have our triggers, so we can put a total of 20 chickens in this particular coop. And we have our food trough and our egg spawn point. Now we have all these beehives, but I haven't found where the honey pot is going to be. So let me just check and see if maybe, just maybe, it's not been placed down. I know we can place only one of these per map, and the fact that it's going to even let me place it implies that nope, there is not a beehive pallet location pre-placed. So if you do own farmland ID 39 and you want to collect bee honey, well, you're going to need to put down one of those triggers. Just on the other side of the farmhouse, we do have this shed available. Again, should we buy farmland ID 39? Let's get a little bit of altitude. You will notice that there are fields that do have utility lines running through those. These utility poles do have collisions, so you will need to work around those, as will your hired help. Let's just check and see. We'll need to buy this field first. Now that we own this field, can we sell this utility pole? No, we can't. So I was hoping, kind of hoping that this map held to the trend where you could sell the collision and then have the utility binds and no collision to deal with. Now, with respect to the other possible farm areas, we have the buildable site here at farmland ID 38. It's a bit run down. We have kind of an old water storage tank here. It's a little bit overgrown. Then we have this old brick shed as well, a bit overgrown. But we could buy this land, clear things out, and clean this up, and have a decent area for us to build out a farm. All the way to the southeast corner of the map, we're going to find farmland ID 37. This is going to be a forested area, a lightly forested area, but we do have a bit of a clearing here to the south of the trees. We've got some stones we could crush and get cleared out of the way, and this would also make a decent sized area to build out your farm. Now overall, this is a flat map with respect to your agriculture, so you shouldn't have any issue with respect to using possibly slightly underpowered machinery for your field work. Here we have farmland ID 21. I mentioned it very early in the video as kind of being rather unique because we have this square in the middle of the field. It is a fenced off region, and we do have kind of a water tank here, kind of implying that maybe at some point in time this was a little farm area, and then this field has kind of been placed around it. Possibly, you know, the lane to get over to this farm area was somewhere over here, but time has passed, and this is now kind of a relic. We also have this area located right here between farmland ID 19 and 20. Now, I didn't call this out as a possible build site earlier because this area is split between farmland ID 19 and farmland ID 20. So if we select farmland ID 20, you'll see we own kind of the northern part, and if we click here, we own kind of the southern part. So we do have, though, we have another water tank there, another kind of storage shed. So again, if you owned these two fields, well, this could be another small buildable site for a farm. The last area you want to look at as possible farm or building sites is going to be farmland ID 35. It's up here to the northwest, just across from the animal dealer. And we've got a pretty substantial clearing here, and then a little bit of a forest in the back. So I think this would be a pretty cool map with respect to multiplayer, because we do have some decent sized fields where we could get together and share work, like do a common harvest. And then we have areas where we could build out a farm if you had a player that wanted to do that, or if you wanted to expand and grow the main farm, you also have plenty of land to possibly do that with. Just beside farmland ID 35, we have the animal dealer. This, of course, is the animal dealer from Riverbend Springs. So Kate's hanging out here at the front door. We have our animal dealer buy trigger located here by the pigs. We have our bale sell trigger. And then around the back, we're going to be able to purchase manure and slurry. We make our way south, kind of along the main drag here. We're going to, of course, find our main farm to the left, our starting area here to our right. And in the extreme southwest corner of the map, we're going to have a grain sell point located right here. We're going to find a farmer's market located here for sale of produce and grains and such. And then we're going to find a dairy, but this isn't a production dairy. This is simply a sell point for milk goods. So we've got that located right there. Now we'll make our way diagonal across the map, because the only other area of sell points is going to be in the extreme northeast corner. Now, while we're flying over here, I will say that this map will play pretty good on any system. I tested this map on my low-end system, which is using AMD integrated graphics, specifically the 780M chipset, and I found that I was getting frame rates anywhere between the upper 30s to 50s, of course, with my custom medium settings, which include FSR frame gen. That equates out to frame rates near 70 FPS or greater and 100 FPS. So very good performance with respect to this map on low-end systems, including Windows-based gaming handhelds. So we've got our sell point here for grain. Then we have our vehicle shop located right here. We have our dealer trigger along the side of the building. And then we have our main dealer trigger right here. Ben's just hanging out the front door. Let's go ahead and pick up something just to see where it spawns. Spawns along the side here. I kind of thought maybe it would spawn in this grassy area, but it does spawn here along the side. Decent sized area for new vehicles and machinery to spawn. And it looks like we have a fuel trigger also located up here at the shop. So with respect to refueling your tractors, you've got it covered in the northeast corner. So guys, that is the map. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I think it's a nice map. You're looking for something that's going to be pretty easy to play, looking for something with decent sized fields, and maybe a twist with respect to that custom South American growth schedule. You can get yourself maybe a little bit out of a farm sim rut always harvesting and planting your crops in the same general time frames. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And until next time, happy farming.